What up, Kings fans, and welcome back to On the King's Dime. The roster is finally complete. We've got our 12th signing, Lucas Walker, coming to the franchise via the NBL 1 and Nunawading, and I believe he played for the Taipans last season. 34 years old, so very experienced. 6'8", so maybe not the elite kind of rebounder shot blocker that we were after, but he can rebound the ball, and he's a very determined character, very experienced guy coming in. A lot of the shot blocking is now going to fall back onto Andrew Bogut and Jordan Hunter. Jordan Hunter does have some experience blocking the ball, but he's only a young guy, so a lot of pressure on his shoulders. We're not expecting to get that much production out of Daniel Kickett at the defensive end. But yeah, good to see Lucas Walker coming in. I think he's going to be a very experienced campaigner, going to help this team. We're compiling a roster with a lot of guys that can play up through their position, make sure they play above their size, which is something we didn't really have last season. We didn't really utilize with Andrew Gaze, but this season is going to be very interesting. The Boomers obviously are still in China 5 in a row now. They beat France last night at the time I'm recording this. Andrew Bogut still over there having a whale of a time, fouling out a little bit too much as well, but it's good to see him staying in tune because the start of the season is only a couple of weeks away, 3 weeks away now. Preseason starting up soon. Will Weaver hasn't even returned back to the country yet, so it's going to be interesting to see him land back in the country with Bogut. They're going to have to hit the ground running. All of their preseason is going to be done over there at the World Cup. But this video, of course, is going to be a look at our scoring. A lot of our roster is kind of new. A few guys from last year we're going to be able to go back through, as well as Andrew Bogut, the elite MVP guy. Really weren't expecting the scoring production from him last season. It was good to see him really getting on the glass, finishing plays, finishing around the rim as well. I was looking through some of the highlights. There was a lot of 20 points, 10 rebounds, 20 points, 10 rebounds videos. It was good to see. Casper Ware, our new guy, we're saving him for last. This is going to be a two-parter. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. We're going to get straight into it. We've got Jordan Hunter to start. But yeah, enjoy the video, guys. This is going to be Sydney Kings scoring ability. We're going through all of the scorers. We've got heaps of footage to go through. So let's get into it. So we're starting out with Jordan Hunter, backup center. Only a young guy. He's 22, turning 23 next, I think at the end of this year, October. 6'11", 230, so strong kind of guy. Look, he's got huge shoes to fill now with Andrew Bogut, basically our only other dedicated center. If you look at a guy like Daniel Kickett, I don't think he's going to get many center minutes this season. He's more of a stretch 5, a stretch 4 type of player. A guy that you're not going to be looking to be a defensively impactful player. Whereas Jordan Hunter's got a big role here. He's got a big sort of role to step into as a young man. 4 years of college. He's just come out. It's his first professional season. He's from Sydney, so you know he's definitely got some skin in the game. He's got some people to impress. Nice footwork there. But yeah, I think he's going to have to clean up the glass, provide post offense. Last season we had Dane Pineau basically coming off the bench for Andrew Bogut, a little bit of a potato on offense and defense, and getting scored on quite regularly. It's going to be important for Jordan Hunter to come out off the bench if he's that first guy out for Bogut and actually provide a scoring impact, stop the bleeding. We kind of found a little bit of a too little too late solution in Rainbow Ray Turner, formerly Ray Puffed, the Marshmallow Man. He actually provided a little bit of a spark and took Pineau's minutes. But ultimately, the David Ware, Daniel Kickett type of scenario just didn't really work for us last season. We didn't have that structure, the proper structure. We got a lot of guys like Lucas Walker, a lot of younger, sort of smaller guys. They're going to have to play up into their position. So the pressure's really on Jordan Hunter. This isn't a 2 or 3 year, I think he's on a 3-year deal, but this isn't like a 2 or 3 grow into your role. I think he's going to be thrown into the fire pretty quickly in a sink or swim sense. And from what I've seen, you have a look at some of this, some nice running hooks, a couple of lefty floaters. Looks like he can score, nice IQ cut there, and he, establishes his post position. A little bit slow, nice use of the body there, and a nice little hook. I think he's got the tools in his locker, and he's got the know-how. He should spin baseline there pretty quick. He waits till his position's established there, but still gets all the way to the hoop. An 8-foot sort of right-handed baby hook. We're going to be seeing that a lot. One thing I didn't mention is that he doesn't have it. It doesn't look like he has a jump shot from any of this college footage that I sort of went through. No jumper there, so that's a bit of a worry if we're looking for sort of bailout offense from the elbow, which we got from Ray Turner last season. It's not there for Hunter. We have seen on the Sydney Kings website some of those videos they post in training. We've seen some of the gym footage. Can knock him down. We saw Dane Pineau knocking down 2s and 3s jump shots in the when we were watching the game live. But yeah, important stuff. Clean up the glass post offense. Now setting high picks and being a roll threat. We've seen that. That's terrible defense. Just pulled the chair out from underneath him. Being a roll and a lob threat is pretty much, it's either him or Bogut this season. That's a little bit worrying. A little bit you got to be a little bit conscious. Last year, I guess it was pretty much only Bogut. We didn't have any other lob threats at all. We've got some guards like Jayshawn Tate and Lucas Walker could probably be another lob threat a little bit too. Now defensive highlights. I just threw some of these defense highlights in here because he is going to be the chief shot blocker. We haven't seen him yet. We haven't done a video. We haven't seen him much yet. But yeah, that was some nice downhill defense from a standing perspective in the FIBA rules and the FIBA competition. He's going to have to be that shot blocker off the bench, and it's going to be an important role. If you look at the way our offense is structured, a lot of smaller guys, some nice anticipation there. A lot of smaller guys playing up in their roles, and like getting to the basket is going to be a big staple in what we do this season. We've got so many downhill scorers. We'll be going through all of them, but you'll just see how many guys that we have that want to score getting downhill to the hoop. So if we add some motion into our offense, we're not sure. Will Weaver obviously still over in China. We're not 100% sure what he's going to do with this team. He's got passers like Bogut. He's got guys like Casper Ware, very experienced sort of NBL campaigners like Kevin Lish. We've got a pretty deep sort of guard rotation on the bench. So I think the bench looks good for Jordan Hunter to anchor that center position. And I think he's going to do a good job. We can't say straight, like from here, this is exactly what he's going to provide to this team. But yeah, look, tournament most outstanding player in the NCAA in the lead up to the NCAA, which was good to see. So now we're going to move on to Lucas Walker here. I was kind of first just looking at this signing going, why are we getting another sort of 6'8 guy, 6'7", 6'8", 220? We kind of don't need this. You know what? He kind of reminds me a little bit of David Ware. But I don't think David Ware kind of fit this team. He didn't really integrate. Lucas Walker at least looks like he has some NBL experience. He has that drive and score game. He can clean the glass. There's a nice putback there. He has shown at least some ability to integrate into some NBL offense. This being the NBL 1, some stuff from Nana Whiting, the NBL 1, which they won. The worry for me is we just don't have, we kind of wanted that power forward shot blocker, and he's only 6'7". I don't think he's going to be out there to block shots. He'll grab boards. He has a jump shot. That's at least one thing. Daniel Kickett and Lucas Walker will probably, I think, play a lot of 4 this season, stretching the floor. That's a nice little step back jumper. I'm just, he just reminds me again of another kind of guy like Jayshawn Tate. Like what you're going to get out of Lucas Walker at the 4 spot is just what you're going to get out of Jayshawn Tate at the 3 spot. So I expect a lot of small ball from this team with Bogut on the floor. And Bogut's such a good passer that, if you cut, he's going to find you. So that's gonna be one thing. Lucas Walker, that's a nice sort of pull up and jumper. You can see on this footage he has the ability to cut and get to the hole. So a lot like Brad Newley, he's going to be a kind of downhill option, and it's going to be an important part of this team if he's getting to the hoop. And he's experienced too, and he can shoot a 3 ball. And he has that connection with Kiwani. We'll see in these highlights for the Taipans, he did kind of play with Kiwani last year. As you look at that, it's a nice turnaround jumper there. If you look at some of these highlights where we played against the Taipans last season, we beat them 4-0. Kiwani and Walker both showed some glimpses, as you see here, downhill again to the hoop, finishing over Kevin Lish. And then off of the strong side from Bogut. And he has that connection with Kiwani. As you see, Kiwani dimes him up. And then in the next clip, grabs a board, and then he dimes Kiwani back. I think it's going to be important that he's the experienced guy. I just don't know if he's starting quality, and it's going to be interesting to see who Will Weaver starts. And that was a nice finish from Kiwani. And we're going to go to Kiwani here now. Look, I think he's a little bit of a sleeper for an important position in this team. He's going to be that extra guard who can knock down a 3 ball. As you can see here, there's a nice array of 3 balls that he's knocking down. His stroke looks quite clean in the corner. Nothing but net there. Nothing but net on the last one. Another one on the wing. I think as a catch and shoot player, he's shown a reasonable ability to knock down that three ball, and that's going to be important because if you look at Didi, I think Didi's going to be the premier 3-point shooter off the bench. You're going to see him take a lot of three ball. Where Keone is elite, in my opinion, is downhill to the basket. That's where he's a better scorer, is downhill. But if Keone can knock down those shots, it's going to be a very important part of our offense. He'll get a lot of minutes, I think, at the 2. If we're playing Didi in a sort of point guard role, Keone can definitely step in and play that 2 guard spot. Last year we rotated Kevin Lish and Jerome Randall a lot. Jerome Randall's off, but Lish is off, but Randall's in. Adnam's on, and Randall's in. Adnam's off, and Lish is in. I think we've got 4 guards, 4 different guards that are going to actually complement our offense. We won't have to just scramble around, keeping guys on the court. We can actually bring 2 guards off and bring 2 guards on. As you can see here, this is a nice jumper. The really underrated thing about Keone is his finishing. If you watch him get to the hole, you watch how well he finishes off a 1 foot, which is really important. I was thinking about it the other day. You really only see sort of finishing off a 1 foot in the higher European leagues and the NBA. Guys that get to the hoop, a late delayed step. He pretty much got that shot blocker in the air and was able to go baseline. He sees him, gets him in the air before he's taken that step, and he can get to the hole. If you watch it here on the slow-mo, gets him with that little 1-2, that little step, and then off a 1 foot goes to the hole. And as you see here, he's got that slow down in transition, the 1, 2, 3. So 2 clips in a row there where he gets that shot blocker off his feet pretty much straight away. I think that's an underrated aspect of his finishing. He played quite well in the NBL 1. He showed, there's a really good mixtape actually, if you go and look at YouTube, of him at the Taipans. And basically I was watching that just going, how good is he finishing at the hole? How many weapons have we got in the hole, going to the basket? Lucas Walker can get at the basket. Oh, that's a sweet alley-oop finish. Lucas Walker can get at the bucket. Tate can get to the bucket. Didi Louzada, if you haven't seen those videos we've done on Tate and Louzada, they can get to the bucket. There's Denga Kuth. He dimes up Denga Kuth nicely there. And then Denga Kuth giving it back with a sweet dime, and one there off a pump fake. It's a shame we didn't sort of keep Denga Kuth because it was fun watching him play for Ballarat. As here he finishes with Denga Kuth with a sweet jumper. Yeah, but I think Keone's got a pretty important role off the bench anyway. So Craig Moller, highlights not found. I did him a little bit dirty here, but I honestly couldn't find that many highlights for Craig Moller. Not 100% sure how he's going to fit this team. When I was looking through the Casper Ware highlights, he did a lot of standing in the corner like this, standing there in the corner, gets the ball, pump fake here, get to the rim. But he did a lot of kind of standing there in the corner on the wing, kind of not getting the ball at all, ever, in a lot of the Casper Ware highlights that I watched. Oh, that's a sweet dime from Barlow. Yeah, knocks down that 3. Look, he looks like he can knock down a 3 ball. He looks like he can get to the hole off the dribble. Let's see how he goes. I think, as a 2-3, 3-4 guy, 6'7", 207, it could be an important piece. He's a Sydney guy, born and raised. He's won an NBL championship with Melbourne. Even if he was a bench guy, he's an absolute lumberjack player there. Caveman drive. But yeah, no, here's some Melbourne highlights that actually make sense with Andrew Bogut rejecting David Barlow. I could watch this all night. Cleanse our palate with some Melbourne highlights that actually mean something to the franchise and to you as Sydney Kings fans. And I think it was at this point here, we'll see at exactly the point. This is the point where he realized he made a mistake going straight up into Bogut. So we move on to Sean Bruce now. Sean Bruce, obviously he could be another guy with highlights not found. I could have done him dirty, but I managed to rustle up some Cubal highlights. The old Cubal, he's had a bit of a stint, I believe, with Brisbane a few years ago, and then sort of came from the Cubal to Sydney. 6'3", he's 28, so quite experienced. It's a bit sort of strange. He seems to be kind of the fifth wheel kind of guy. We've got Casper Ware, Kevin Lish, and then Didi Louzada as a next star. I think Didi's going to be an important next star because he's got a lot of attributes that he can really offer to the guard positions. And then you've seen Keone, his finishing and his power off the dribble can knock down those threes. Maybe he's not the kind of handler that's going to be in a dedicated one spot, so you'll see Didi play a little bit more point this season. Sean Bruce might be that extra guy who comes in and gives some deep minutes and actually gives some proper sort of all-round point guard plays. You can see he can dime guys up. He can shoot the 3 ball. He can get to the hoop. I don't think he's getting to the hoop is as strong as Keone. I think Keone's got better physical tools. But we'll see. It might be kind of a Kyle Adnam style role last season where, the defensive side, was a little bit of a lapse. It was a little bit of a minus when Kyle Adnam came onto the floor, but maybe we've got some tools here to bring in a traditional point guard that doesn't sort of, bring a negative on the defensive end. Like if you look at Sean Bruce, I can see him sort of not being as defensively sound as Didi and as Kiwani. But, time will tell. We've got a lot of versatility in that sort of 2-3 and 3-4 spot. So the 1-2-2-3 spot. If you look at, Jay Sean Tate, got Brad Newley, even Kiwani could probably play some 3 as well. Craig Moller could probably play some 3. So it's a nice little versatility, some nice balance there. And I think Sean Bruce can be the kind of deep guy that complements all of those guys. Now, everyone's favorite power forward could be your new starting power forward, Daniel Kickert. Let's hope not. He's a 10-2 specialist. He can knock down that 3 ball. He can play a stretch 4 or maybe even a stretch 5. But I think his experience is going to be pretty important this season, with Jordan Hunter being our main sort of shot blocker off the bench at the center position. I think, have a look at this. That was a sweet elevator play. We didn't pull this out enough last year, and obviously Kicker knocking it down there. I think his role is going to be important as a veteran. So if we need to take the pressure off Jordan Hunter, we can take the pressure off Jordan Hunter. Like last year, he really struggled in that Melbourne series in the finals. He was pretty much borderline unplayable. But I don't think it was 100% his fault. He's getting a little bit older. His abilities are on the wane. But I still think he's got the solid fundamentals to actually, if you place his offense into a box and you restrict him on the defensive end, I think he can still offer something to this team. He's not a bad post passer. He's obviously, I've put there, his defense is pretty awful. But he pulled post kick it out of the bag a few times. He got us out of the fire in this Perth game. He was actually really good in this Perth game. But I think having that veteran presence is going to be important. We don't have a proper dedicated 3-ball specialist to play at the 4. Lucas Walker's not that. Jay Sean Tate's 3-ball isn't going to be 100% reliable. We'll talk about him in part 2. Jordan Hunter has no jump shot, and Andrew Bogut doesn't shoot jumpers. So, look, I think he's going to be important. He's going to be an important piece, a veteran piece. If we can get at least some decent contributions out of him this season, I think it'll go a long way to helping this offense as a unit flow. And I think we've got a lot better assets here to kind of box his abilities in and for him to have a positive impact on the team. So that's pretty much it for part 1. We've covered, who did we cover? Jordan Hunter, then Lucas Walker. Then we covered, obviously, Kiwani, Craig Moller, and Sean Bruce. And then Daniel Kickert, everyone's favourite power forward, Australia's favourite set of elbows. Now, we've got part 2 coming up very soon. We're going to come back. Preseason starting very soon as well. We've got plenty of stuff to come. We're going to have a season preview. We're going to do all sorts of stuff. Don't forget, we are on Patreon. We do appreciate you guys watching, listening to our content, listening to the podcast. We're on Podbean, of course. The podcast is on Podbean. We do appreciate everyone, all of your support. So we'll make sure that we get it all to you as quickly as possible. We're rushing out a little bit of content before the season starts. There's a lot of Boomer stuff going on as well. Now, like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate the ears and the eyes. And definitely, we will see you guys next time on The King's Dime.